have to be a good motivator. And I can tell you that being a good motivator it's a double-edged sword, because if you don't get their attention, and right now you're competing for a whole lot when those phones, those boyfriends, those girlfriends, their parents, their expectations, their schoolwork, their other activities, their free time or playtime. I'm here to tell you, you're competing with a whole lot of other activities. And sometimes I just like to tell people, let them be a kid. Can we not just let them be a kid? They don't have it 20 years. Let's let them be a kid. And I teach anybody I've had since, for the last 30 years will tell you that I come in there smiling, happy, with a great attitude, singing. And when I get unhappy about it, it's because of energy and effort. I find that's a lot of times with my older students on a Saturday morning throughout the years. I've found them with my older students on a Friday night throughout the years. And so a lot of times they don't want to be there, but they're committed. So you've got to make it fun for them to be there. You're competing with other activities. You're going to have to motivate them based on their psychology. You have to be able to understand what makes them tick. Do you kick them in the butt, or do you love them and pat them on the back? And you don't treat everybody the same. So understand that. You do not treat everybody the same. You set disciplines for everybody, and you do not go over or make any exceptions for those. That is important. But you do not communicate with your players all the same, because they are not all motivated by the same tactics. And if you don't understand that, you need to understand that to be a good coach, you've got 5 keys, and number 3 is you must be a good motivator. Know the subject, be able to communicate it to your audience, and motivate them to want to be there and to learn and be the best that they can be. You want them to be around you. You want them to be happy when they're there. You want to make it so exciting that they want to come. They are excited. They're anticipating it. And they love it. But bottom line is, if they shouldn't play if they don't love it. I loved football, basketball, and baseball. I couldn't play football after a Jeep wreck, so I didn't play my 10th, 11th, or 12th grade year. But I played basketball and baseball, and then I played other sports as just, for recreation. I just love to play. And so I see a lot of times now that it's structured and it's money and it's travel, and sometimes you just would like for them to play. They can play. They can play in the front yard. Invite 3 friends over. Let them play 2-on-2 for 4 hours, and I guarantee you they'll have a lot more fun. You'll save some money. And that's the old-fashioned way. That's the Phee Schmee. Back in the good old days, when fancy schmancy days now, where you gotta go and spend $500 to play in a baseball tournament. Yeah, back in the Phee Schmee day, we just went to the church league, drank out of the water fountain, played tennis afterwards. Had a good time, too. Had a good time. Yes, you got to practice at game speed. When you're starting new drills, you got to start small, and then I tell them sharpen the saw. But you must be a good teacher. You must be a good communicator. You must be a good motivator. Number 4, you must instill confidence in your players. The worst thing about a player is that they practice. They have a great week of practice. They come out, they make a mistake, and all of that practice and all of that great shooting and all of that great energy and all of that great passion and all that great anticipation, they make one mistake, and all of a sudden that's out the window, and it's game day coached. It means to make a decision and to make an example out of somebody he's praised through the week to other people. And boy, isn't that something. Because what that does is just completely take all the momentum away from the boy. You better understand that to instill confidence in your players makes you look better. And to brag on your players, it makes you look better. and every time your players lose, you take the blame, and every time your players win, you give them the credit. If you'll do that, you'll be way ahead in instilling confidence in your players, because no matter how you act in that locker room, lovey-dovey, if you go out there and don't execute on game day and then throw them under the bus in the media or to the other team in post-game, you are not helping motivate or communicate or instilling confidence very well. And it shows up on the wins and losses. Unless, and here's the key, your talent is so much better than the other ones, you can do a real bad job of coaching and everybody will think you're doing a good job. But if it's a level playing field, that's when you come into play. That's when your preparation comes into play. That's when your leadership comes into play. Begin with the end in mind on that final score of that national championship game and lay out the goals. But every step of the way, win, loss, motivating negative or motivating positive, you better be instilling confidence in those players, because those players are your resume. Those players are people you chose, that you coached. So they perform based on you. The buck stops with you. And I know you're getting paid $30 million to win 4 games, and you can thank Jimmy for that, and that's a great deal. He found a niche that back in the 80s that didn't exist, but I'm thankful that he did, because good coaches need to be rewarded. But again, the buyouts, I mean, once you get to that level, you don't have to perform anymore. So be a good coach. You have to be a good teacher. You have to be a good communicator. You have to be a good motivator. You have to instill confidence in your players. And number practice, when it comes to game time, you've got to practice at game speed. I don't care how many drafts you're putting on that computer before that presentation. Once you get there, you better know it backwards and forwards. You understand that if all I was doing was a podcast a week, I would never need anything to look at. But we don't do a lot of edits here. We sass it like I tell them, Stephen A. Smith, that we do it on the first take. We take our lumps. We're not as professional right now as we're going to be in the future, I'm sure, and we're not going to be as good. But if I had a dadgum screen right there, I bought a teleprompter, it's not big enough for me to be able to read. So now I'll read out of off the phone for a couple more weeks, and then we'll get it on the TV, and then we'll get it on the teleprompters. And before long, I'll just be sitting there talking to you, and it'll pop right up whatever we're talking about. Right now, we're just going to have a good time and enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with doing it the old-fashioned way. I learned typing on a typewriter. So let's instill confidence, and then let's practice at game speed. I tell all my students, when they can do all their one-ball drills in a certain amount of time, the first 30 minutes, they have to do 800 dribbling drills, 100 shooting drills, and that's 800 drills total, and that's 100 shooting drills. So once they can get that done in about 18 to 22 minutes, when they've been there at least 2 years, then they start their 2-ball drills. And every time you see some students eager to do it, some students always that are doing 1-ball drills slower, look over and see the best students I have that have these college scholarships and are committing, and they're doing these 2-ball drills so easy, and they don't remember and don't know how much time it's spent to get to where they could even do it one time. We would set records at 3 and 5 and 7, then all of a sudden it'd be 14, 23. And before you know it, time, rep, and now it's just beautiful, automatic. It's a thing of beauty. It's and people see it and they get intimidated by it if they're going to have to try to do it the first time. And what I tell them is we start small in every drill, just like the very first drills I showed you. And we're just going to continue to build. We get faster and faster and faster because we have to be able to practice at game speed. And that is the 5 keys to being a good coach. We'll go them again at the end, but it is now time for our questions. So here's the question. Coach Phee, I am a 38-year-old divorced man with no kids. I am really having difficulty finding a girl that goes out with me more than once. I'm nice, average looking, 6 foot, 187 pounds with no kids and a great job. They all say they just want to hang out and be friends. Do you have any theology tips for J and OK? Well, J and OK, you're 38 years old and divorced, but you don't have any kids. So I don't know how long you were married, but you know most 38-year-old divorced people do have children. So sounds like to me you have a fresh start, a clean canvas, and at that age you can attract women anywhere from 50 years old to 26, 25 years old. So you're not going to have a problem from the wide range that you can select from at that age. You say you're good looking, 6 foot 187. I mean that's the height range that women like. 187 tells me you're the you're athletic build, or at least you don't have a lot of excess weight. The big thing about this, first of all, Jay, is men don't get the reps, like in coaching, in the relationships. They don't understand how to flirt. They don't understand that 90% of all communications is body language. It's not what you say as much as how you say it and what you're looking at. And the bottom line is, do you look them in the eyes? Because that is a number one key to flirting with women, is you have to be able to make eye contact out of them. If you're just looking at their breast or looking by their head or looking at their ear or paying attention to the person behind them, or scared to look at them because then you're going to dart away, you're not exuding any confidence whatsoever, and you don't have any idea how many of them are looking at you. Because remember, if you don't look at them, you won't even know they're looking at you. And when they look at you, instead of darting away, how about just holding that gaze? How about just looking until she looks away? I like that. That's just friend zone stuff. I don't get all that. Now there's 4 or 5 boys and 4 or 5 girls, and they're just all friends. Then they hang out, and if they hook up, they hook up. If they don't, they don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, and Mounds don't. So that's theology doesn't extend to that. So another thing, I don't know if you're on any dating apps, man. If you're 6 foot 187 with a good job, no kids, there's no reason whatsoever that you shouldn't have or have a problem getting dates. And it looks like to me the ones you're getting, they don't want to go out anymore. They want to be your friend. So the key word in your whole sentence here is, I'm nice, average looking, 6 foot 187 with no kids and a great job. I'm nice puts you in that friend zone. It puts you in that platonic. Let me call and talk to him when my boyfriend breaks up with me. That's not the dude you're really looking for. I don't recommend that in theology. So I would not get into that area. A lot of folks have always been unhappy with me talking about, as far as men having girl friends, and that's supposed to be all fine stuff. I know men, first of all. If you have to separate, if you're working in an organization or for a company, and you're in a relationship where you're around a bunch of men and women working together, there is boundaries there that are understood and that you have to comply, or sooner or later, in today's age, HR starts getting complaints. But remember, in relationships that start out real well with the flirting and just can't wait to just eat you up, sometimes are the same relationships that she's throwing the stapler across the dadgum office at you. So it doesn't stay the same, and nobody realizes that sin's real pleasurable for a season. And so I would not fish off the company pier in that type of situation. But if you're not in a work relationship and you're looking for good girls, I don't know how many dating apps or what that's out there that actually have any good people or good girls on there. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's just lonely people, and that's just another way for them to reach out and communicate. And I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that, and the masses are doing it. I just think there's a better way to meet people, and that's joining organizations, and if you go out and hook up at a bar and just because that's fine too if the relationship works out. But normally that's not the case. It's not setting the right foundation, and it certainly starts with sin. If it's that way, then again it probably ends that way and bad. So uh, there's got to be a reason why, and it's probably confidence. It's probably a lack of practice. It's probably you just need to probably change a couple of things. I don't know what you look like, but if you're average looking and 6 foot tall with a good job, I mean, some people you're going to attract some women just because you're that age with a good job. 6 foot 187 is great, so you can attract plenty of women, especially if they're trying to raise kids and they don't have any money. But to find a true love, a passionate one that pray about it and ask the Lord to guide and direct you in a situation. But you have to do your part, and you've got to be able to be confident. If you got a great job, you can go out there and meet, make eye contact with them, and brush your teeth. As a coach, I'm gonna go right back to the basics. Take a shower, make sure your scent's good. Brush your teeth. You don't have to put on a heavy cologne. If you can go with a scent, but smell good, dress nice, and brush your teeth, comb your hair, do those things. But once you're there, if you're in the right environment around women, then you're going to have to trigger that primal, that primal nature that those women have. Because I'm here to tell you, they just it's just bred in them. The Lord just made them. They are always competing against one another, and they're very, very intelligent and shrewd emotionally, and they're always thinking, and you never know what they're thinking. But I can assure you, it's some of them are. It's just, you think she's the public librarian, but I'm telling you right now, she's got whatever's in her ears is in her ears, and whatever confidence she has, she has. So to you, I can tell you, you just have to. I would try to meet someone in a church environment. That doesn't mean they're good, good people. In a business environment. I mean, there's lots of different ways that I have one girl goes to bingo, but a lot of people go to restaurants and bars and they have dating apps. But I mean, I'm sure that there's folks out there. I think that's probably a confidence level situation for you, Jay. If what you're getting, I mean, you need to make sure that your skin's okay. I mean, there's lots of different ways, but I would just practice on my flirting skills and my confidence, and understand that if you're chasing women all the time and you're always available to them, and you're trying your best to get them to go out with you and for romance, then you don't need to act like their friend. You don't need to be available for every time that they need you, because you need to be able to communicate with them and tell them. But don't chase them. You want people that want you. That's the key. You love people that love you. One of the key phrases in any business that I've always taught people since I was 21 years old, and even in college when I would tell them, you have to really, as a boy or a man, and against the other sex, you have to tell them what you want. And if you'll do that, most of them will respond. If you continue to ask them what they want, they're going to take the lead. And it's not in their nature to enjoy taking the lead. They might act like it. And there's plenty of women out there today that are self-sufficient and make plenty of money and don't need a man. But if you trigger that primal nature that they have and that desires that they have emotionally and physically, I promise you that they want to be led by a man who understands what he's doing, and you don't get that from a man that's very timid, with a lack of confidence, that doesn't look them in the eye, that doesn't have a plan. Go watch Hitch. I just like that, baby. That's a good comedy. Go watch Hitch. Men need plans. And if you're 6 foot 187 with a great job and you can't go out but one time with somebody, that's because that one time you didn't trigger those primal desires, and they thought you was just a nice, sweet guy. And if they ever want to hang out again or get broken up on February the 13th from their boyfriend, they'll call you and see if you want to take them to dinner for Valentine's Day. But the rest of the time, you just go ahead and do what you need to do and rub my back and my feet while I'm talking to my boyfriend on text. So that doesn't cut it for Phee. If it cuts it for a lot of you dudes out there, I would tell you you're weak. A lot of guys, girls would say I'm a pig or whatever. That's fine too. So this is Pheeology, and so you got all kinds of other ologies out there that you can follow. But Pheeology will tell you that you need to have a plan. You need to communicate. You need to be able to understand that body language is 90% of communication. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And a lot of times you can look them right dead in the eye, and just say, I want to spend a little time with you. And that works for me. So I didn't really need a lot of pickup lines. But anyway, it's been a long time for the Phee show. It's probably a new age out there. And y'all are probably putting dog collars around them and letting your women carry you to eat out of the food bowls. But speaking of food, here's our next question, ladies and gentlemen. Feast me. I see your dogs on your live stream. They are beautiful. What is the best dog foods out there? Sarah. Look at Sarah. You can tell me where you're from, Sarah. Well, Sarah, let me tell you about these dog foods. I thank you for my dog. I love my dogs. God's blessed me with those dogs. I've got my oldest dog. It's gone through so much with me, and I just love him. And I'm telling you, I've been very lonely since all my kids are grown and have wives and moved out of town, or husbands and moved out of town. And then I have friends that I play golf with, and then I have families that that I see, and my students and my coaches. But when you come home to an empty house day after day after day, and you put your head on that pillow night after night after night, I'm thankful for every day and every night. But I can tell you, I've never lived that way. So I always had someone in my house, and most of the time a whole lot of people in my house. So we never were scared about having folks come to our house and spend the night. And all my kids, that's where I wanted them to be, is here, rather than someplace else. And we created an environment that was fun and exciting for kids to come over, but was also safe and certainly not doing anything that their other parents would be embarrassed or concerned with, or they wouldn't allow them to come over. So anyway, as far as these dog foods, dog companies are just they're crushing dogs' lives. They've, on an average now of 6 years from 30 years ago, they're putting that's the amount of years of age that's decreased because of this dog food. For years and years and years, they just put sawdust as fillers. Then they got sued, and then they carried that lawsuit out for about 3 years, and then settled for like $14 million after they'd made $786 million. And now they've got a different filler, and they've got artificial flavoring, and they cook at high temperatures, and they mass produce. So yes, there's probably 10 really, really good dog food companies that I actually researched for my dogs, and I'm going to be an affiliate marketer for one of them. I don't know which yet. I'll give you my top three. One of them is Dr. Marty's Pet Food. Dr. Marty is a very, very, I highly recommend if you go to his website. He is very, very qualified. He cares, and he spent a lot of time researching and developing Dr. Marty's Pet Food. Another one is the Katherine Heigl's of that famed show that everybody loves, and at the hospital, and for some reason, Grey's Anatomy. Thank you, Lord. The Grey's Anatomy. I didn't watch it a lot, but I know there was a Doctor Smoozy and Boozy, or Sleazy and Beezy, or whoever. But I mean, I always liked the actor that played Doctor one of them. But he as a child actor, he was always playing the nerd. And then when he got older, he become real good looking. I think at one year he was best looking or man of the year or something. So, but that wasn't the case when he wasn't a child actor stud. That would have been our boy that's in the dog food business. Name goodness gracious, Phee. Why can't you think of these boys' name? He played in Rob Lowe. There you go. Thank you again. Rob Lowe is also in the dog food business, but he was the heartthrob. Him and Leif Garrett and those boys. Tom Cruise didn't. Nobody thought he was good looking until after Top Gun. Then he became a superstar. And of course, Matt Dillon was. He was always a good actor. But C. Thomas Howell. I mean, you've got several in that Outsiders movie that was phenomenal. But yes, Rob Lowe is now in the dog food business too, so you might look at that. But Katherine Heigl is it amazes me that she has a passion. She could be doing a whole lot of different things, and she's spending money, and she's putting her money where her mouth is. She's spending her time. She has a passion for this. I admire that. So you need to check out her dog foods. And then, of course, you got this farmer's dog that basically you get to choose the ingredients, and then they send it fresh to your house. That also is phenomenal. So check those out, and we'll see. We'll go from there as far as the dog foods, and we'll be an affiliate marketer for one of those shortly. They are more expensive, and so if you're a 75-year-old living on Social Security and you don't have a husband or a wife, and you've got a dog or a pet or an animal that you're really attached to, and that's your comforter, that's the one that you spend time with, and they're your kind of your best friends, then I suggest that their diet and your diet change, because for your health and their health. Something happens to you, they got to be go someplace else. Something happens to them, you're going to be devastated and heartbroken. So, thank you for the question, and I also want to thank you for watching my dogs. They're beautiful and they're a blessing to me. And Oliver is he's just a ball of joy and love. He's just got such long arms, and he weighs so much. He can knock me down. He can jump over anything. I've got some very athletic dogs. Just a real. He's got really bothers me with his claws. He's already got me once right beside my eye when I was in bed, and so I'm always leery of him getting too close to me with his feet. But if he'll turn the other way around, to where if he hears something outside, he's not jumping up and scratching me or something. He'll lay his head right on the pillow. He's just so sweet, and he just likes to lay right there by me. And if I wasn't so nervy about his claws all the time, I'd let him do it even more and closer to me, because he just loves me. So, but I've got two dogs that love me, and dogs have always loved me, and children have always loved me, babies have always loved me. There's an energy there that I've always had, and I believe that's from God, and I'm thankful for it. So, next question. Phee, can you explain Zechariah 2:5 for me? Thank you, Donna, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Well, Zechariah is one of my favorite chapters, again, because he's had a vision. I like these folks that have had visions, so I know a lot about Zechariah, but you wouldn't want to read just one verse. That wouldn't be the way I would want to explain Zechariah 2:5. It's a well-known verse or well-known chapter in the Bible, but I think a lot of prophecy teachers, a lot of pastors, and they don't want to talk about the true meaning of it. So for you to ask that specific of a question on 2:5, then you probably are looking for a specific answer. So hopefully I will either educate you and you'll be happy, or we'll agree with one another and you'll be happy, or I will disagree with you and then we can have some other discussions from your philosophy, and you can try to make any point that you would like. I will make mine if you would like for me to. But right now, Zechariah 2, let's read the whole chapter of Zechariah 2. It's not that long, but it is called a measuring line. I lifted up mine eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then said I, Whither goest thou? And he said unto me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length thereof. And behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him, and said unto him, Run, speak to this man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein. Now here's your verse 5. For I, saith the Lord, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Ho, ho, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heavens, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he hath toucheth the apple of his eyes. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And you shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. And many nations will be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people. And I will dwell in the midst of thee, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto thee. And the Lord shall inherit Judah, his portion in the holy land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. Be silent, O all flesh, before the Lord, for he is raised up out of his holy habitation. Now, folks, there's a vision Zechariah's having of a man that's going to try to measure how big Jerusalem is, and the angel stops him and tells him, you don't understand how big it's going to be, because we fixing to expand. Now, the fire in Zechariah 2:5. See, when people say that it's just an imaginary wall of fire, you will look and see that throughout time, where Jerusalem was under the Jewish law, where they were scattered, or in 1948 that it was actually back again. The Jews came back in 1967, and when Donald Trump actually said that Jerusalem would be the capital, and with the Abraham Accords and a lot of things throughout history. But remember that God has never been happy with his people, but he's always protected that area of Jerusalem. And remember, this is speaking in Zechariah 2 of the time we're living in right now. And what do I mean by that? I mean that they're going to build a temple, And when my Lord Jesus Christ comes back, and he stands his feet on the Mount of Olives after rapturing the church, he's going to look down on that Temple Mount. And from that Temple Mount, you can look up at the Mount Olives, and he's going to split that about any which way he wants to. And whatever he breaks it back, he can put it right back together again. So you know what this earth looks like at the end, and what he replenishes for his 1,000-year reign. Well, it's not going to take him real long to do. So he is the creator, and he's coming back as the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, and he's speaking to Zechariah as the Lord of Hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other way to say it than he is spirit. If you don't believe in spirit, then you don't believe in God. And I'm telling you right now that Jerusalem, he's going to dwell in. And America is going to protect Israel. And you're looking at him building a wall of fire. And that imaginary wall that's been there all this time to protect that little piece of land that everybody's been fighting over, and more wars have been fought over. And from the days of Abraham, where his first child, Ishmael, was not the chosen one because Sarah was trying to help Abraham. And so again, you're dealing with a real, goes all the way back, and both people see their sides, and then both people teach their cultures, and it's a holy war, it's a religious war, and now you're getting involved in other religions that'll be in it, and with a one world government and a one world religion, and all religions lead to one God. And whether it's an alien invasion or whether it's a dadgum, they try to do it with from the sky and make it as close to Jesus as they can, or killing folks in World War III in order to make people think they've already been raptured. There's no telling the deception, but I've got a list of them as I'm trying to prepare for a game plan. I had a vision. I saw World War III, but I can tell you right now, I did not see who was sending it, where it was sent, as far as was it sending from space or whether it was from a different country. So there's certainly, I can certainly see how all of it. I just think about Independence Day and how can they get the whole world with all these cultures to believe in one world government? They've got to be able to find something to where we've got to all come together as one world. And how do the United States and Israel and Jordan not participate in that and then come and fight against that? It's all it's going to be very, very interesting in the chess pieces and how the game plays out. I really have a good I have a good game plan as far as that's concerned. But right now we don't know when the game's starting. So we gotta keep practicing, and we gotta use these 5 keys. But Zechariah 2 is a really big deal. What they don't look at and what they don't want to talk about, and I don't understand why. It's a good thing that there's going to be more people that become children of God, that come home. There's going to be more people saved during this time. It is the greatest evangelistic movement, and a lot of that's going to be coming right at the end of time. They're going to make decisions, and those decisions will stand. But a lot of people are missing that. But if you're wanting a lesson on Zechariah 2, I would say if you want to be excited as God's people, as much as tribulation as we're going to have, and as much excitement as we're going to have, we're going to go through times that if we don't prepare for, we're going to make bad decisions. But you got to be excited because he's bringing his kingdom home. We're winning right then. It's the 2-minute warning. We're rocking and rolling. But what we do in the first and second and third quarter, when it comes to this time, and that vision in Zechariah 2, he's talking about the very, very end. And you're talking about some real security in your faith and your leadership in this time that we're in. You need to have some real security in your Lord Jesus' word and what he's going to do during that time, because Israel is not going to fall to that one world government, and the United States, although we're going to have some problems, we're going to win because of that. So you can see that we have to give security, and we've got to give glory to God. He's fixing to dwell on this earth, this spirit. He's going to set up a new kingdom. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of things going on that one generation will be able to see. But if he's going to dwell in that temple, and Jerusalem is his town, and his city, and the Jews are his people, and he's going to save them. They're going to try to come home, as he says. Just when he says all glory, the glory within suggests God's presence will be a source of Jerusalem's inner splendor and prosperity. I just believe that. When it says his glory from within, he's going to dwell. The Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, the Lord of Hosts is going to dwell right there. You think he's not going to put a wall of fire? You watch and see how the whole world is going to be against Israel. And the whole world is going to try to come down to conquer and invade Jerusalem. And that's the Battle of Armageddon. So how does he fight? How does Israel and Jerusalem fight them off? I just think the last 3.5 years, he's just throwing a big wall of fire around them. He's certainly going to protect them, because he's fixing to live there. He's going to dwell there. So anytime you want to be against Israel, against the Jews or something, just remember, I'm not condoning what they do, what they've done in the past, who they work for, what they dabble in, and everything else. My Lord will judge that. What I'm supposed to do is make sure that where he's going to dwell, where the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings and the Lord of Hosts is going to dwell, we need to make sure, when you look at Zechariah 2, it's pretty obvious that they're going to build that temple. And my Lord's going to win. And he's going to dwell in Jerusalem, right there in that temple that some people don't even think is going to be built. So, again, thank you for your question. I hope that explains Zechariah 2, and more so Zechariah 2:5. I've got something on my right tonsil, and I've just got it out, I hope. But thank you for the question about Zechariah 2. Next question. Sir, I'm 18, going into my senior year. My father says you were one of the best athletes he played against. He played AA ball and was a 3-sport high school athlete. I've always played football, basketball, and baseball. Like my father, my coach said no this year, football and one of the sport. That's it, no discussion. I need help. Tough decisions in Oakland, Tennessee. Well, Oakland, Tennessee used to be a little bitty town outside of Memphis that now in the last 30 years has really grown out there towards Summerville on the way to Jackson. So your father probably is in Memphis, and thank you for that. Shout out. But I grew up playing 3 sports, and those 3 sports, football, basketball, and baseball, until I couldn't play football anymore. So that's I get it. And obviously your father played at that age and played at a high level. So obviously he played 3 sports. You've always played 3 sports. So here's my question, first of all, would be, that you didn't give me, is are you a highly recruited football athlete? What is your passion or your favorite sport? If you had to choose one, which would it be? I always loved football, the game, and was very good at it growing up. But I wouldn't have played quarterback in college. I would have played a slot receiver if I'd have played football. So I've always loved playing basketball the most. You had a tough time finding people to play enough for football. You could play, pass scrimmage or 3-on-3, but you could always find a 3-on-3, 2-on-2 basketball game. So I loved playing basketball, and I was just best at baseball. I had very good hand-eye coordination. My father taught me at a young age to play baseball. That was his favorite sport, and baseball back in the day when he was growing up was the number one sport. So he had a very strong passion for baseball, and I learned it. I was just very good at hand-eye coordination and catching it and understanding the mechanics. And I just didn't strike out. I could put the bat on the ball, and I understood, how to hit from the point of contact of from the hit from the batter to the ball to from the release point from the pitcher. So, I always pitched when I was really young because I'm a left-hander. So, I pitched and played first base until they got to the age where other people could catch it and throw it, and they found out how fast I was, and so I moved to the outfield. So, I love catching fly balls. I love all three sports, but I don't know enough information about it. Now, if you're just going to be a high school athlete and you're not going to try to play professional baseball or professional football, you're not looking for NIL money, or you're not looking to better yourself. Excuse me. From a college degree. As an 18-year-old senior, I have a lot of students now over the years. I've sent 35 kids to play college sports, and I've had Gatorade Players of the Year. I've had Max Prep Players of the Year. I've had McDonald's High School Players of the Year. And in college, of course, I've had the best in college, and also some professional athletes too. So I know what an 18-year-old is. So I've coached many 18-year-olds that are going to play college sports. If you're a college athlete that's being recruited, you're in now the age of year-round training for one sport, and that's they'll let you play probably through junior high. This coach obviously let you play the last year. Maybe you grew late, maybe you had a great year. I don't know, but there's the communication with the coach. You're going to have to communicate, and if you have to take your father, looks like he's had some experience dealing with coaches and understands what communication means in that situation. But so if he has to get involved, you're a senior in high school, or fixing to be, then you need to communicate with and tell him, the coach, the desires. I've always played three sports. I want to finish my high school career playing three sports. I'm not sure I want to play what sport I want to play in college. I don't know what sport I'm being recruited as, or I might be a great football player, but I really like basketball better. So, I can tell you from my standpoint, basketball, I wasn't able to play for the team in the country, my high school team, as a sophomore because of my Jeep wreck, and so I got a late start there as an 11th grader. I was always very young and started my senior year at 16. So it wasn't until my senior year in high school in basketball that I made a contribution to my senior high team. But I was recruited by Division II schools, 3 Division II schools, and I love basketball. I think if I had a couple more years, then I would have been able to or a little more exposure even. I think I would have been able to play at some mid-major D1s in basketball. Baseball, it's just it's a different game than it was then. There wasn't any TV contracts, or if you were either good enough to go from high school to pro, or you just went to college and you didn't have a lot of exposure or anything like that. So things have changed now. It's a year-round training for one sport. It isolates that one sport. The training's designed for the muscles, the nutrition that you're on. I mean, you can get so pinpointed that you lose the fact that you're only going to be a kid one time. You're only going to be a senior in high school one time. You need to do what you want to do. You need to be loved and be smart. So again, if you're a 5-star athlete that's going to be worth several $1 million, but you just think you want to dunk for your girlfriend, that's a whole different deal. But if you have a real love for one sport and you're better than another one, I get that. If you want to play all three because you're average at all three of them, then there's no reason whatsoever for that coach not to let you play all three. If you're not an exceptional, highly recruited athlete and you have a desire to play three sports because your father was a three-sport high school athlete or letterman, then you certainly should be able to do that. Your father ought to be able to get that done for you. Some people want to just make the team. Some people want to just play a little. Some people actually want to start. And then there's folks that want to star. And no matter where you are on that spectrum, you're going to have to make decisions based on that. And in this day and age, there's a lot of money at stake. But number one, your passion and your love, that's going to make you or break you. Because you're going to have good days and bad days. Everybody at that level, they're all there for a reason. And sooner or later, they'll separate themselves, So, again, I would tell you that get your father involved if you're not a highly recruited athlete, and go ahead and get that done to where you can actually play three sports. If you're a highly recruited athlete and your coach is trying to, help you, then that there's the communication. And a coach should do a better job than just saying, "Hey, you've always been able to play three sports, but we're only playing one and pick one in the spring. So if one's football, and pick whatever one you want." That doesn't make sense to me. It'd be football or nothing, or it'd be football or all of them. But again, that's my opinion. And you know what they say about opinions. I know what coaches say about opinions because everybody's got one after the game's over. And they, that's whenever all parents and folks, the media folks, they real good at telling you what they would have done after it was over with, not knowing your personnel or your strategy or knowing who's healthy or who's not. And most of them don't have any idea what they're talking about to begin with. They just, parrot what the person in their group that they think has the most knowledge. So a lot of folks out there that think they can coach, but a coach to tell you that you can play a football and a spring sport, then maybe he coaches football and doesn't coach a spring sport, and maybe so even if you were a junior, you'd be having spring football, but you're going into your senior year. So again, that doesn't make sense to me, but I hope I've helped you as far as that's concerned. I would play all three unless you're a highly recruited athlete, and then you've got some decisions to make, and your father and the coach communicating, and you and the coach communicating would be what I would suggest. So back to the 5 keys to being a good coach. To close tonight, I just want to tell you that you have to be a good teacher, and you have to be a good communicator. You have to be a good motivator. You have to instill confidence in your players, and you must practice at game speed. And so all throughout the Bible, my Lord Jesus Christ was a teacher. He could communicate through love. He could motivate. And didn't he instill confidence in his followers? Eternal life, a free gift that he paid for, bought, redeemed. Wouldn't you love just hanging out? You fixing to hang out with him? He's the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. He's coming back and rocking this world. And you're on his team if you're a child of God. So there's your teacher. There's your communicator. There's your motivator. There's your instilling confidence. And I promise you, he gave me a vision to get you up to game speed, because we've got some time to prepare. And we're going to do that here at the Phee Network. Thank you so much for the opportunity to do business with you tonight. Tomorrow, we'll have the Phee Show with Manly Mark at 9 a.m. We'll be talking about some of the stuff that's going on in the news, and I'm here to tell you right now, it's just going to keep getting uglier. We're right in the right business at the right time. Wonder why, ladies and gentlemen. Phee, the one and only. Well, then you got Manly Mark. Midnight Madness with Manly Mark. He's just got the traction's already there. The views are just keep on popping. There's a segment of folks out there that are going to eat him up with a spoon. He just going to, because he just knows what he's talking about. Can you imagine him spending all the last 10 years researching all of these things and couldn't communicate or tell anybody about it because nobody has the time to listen. And he's got a platform now, and he is so informed in things that I have no idea or had no idea about. He's very, very impressive to me, and I'm thankful for him. And then tomorrow night, we had some technical difficulties one night to where Mark was frozen and I was talking, so we're going to remake the What's True Love. And that'll be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on Night with Phee. Until then, God bless you guys. We'll be on air at any time there's breaking news, day or night, as long as I know you can know right here at the Feast Me Network. And we're just going to continue to grow as we've got golf shows, bowling shows, traveling shows, cooking shows. And then we got to do a lot of podcasts. We're just going to have a great time. You guys have fun and enjoy your night. Night, night.